Do you remember what you were feeling or thinking at that time of your life?
I felt extremely lost, I would say. Because also at the same time, I had a boyfriend in college who was from Canada. He had gone back to Canada. He was applying to medical school. And so we were doing distance. There were some kind of challenges there, and kind of my deciding to stay in Boston for the time being and do this job. And then the job ended up being like a real dud.
Yeah.
And so I felt really conflicted there, and I was like, I chose to be here, but this is terrible. I'm not learning anything. Like, no one will help me. I'm asking everyone if I can help them with their projects, and I'm getting nothing in return. And so it ultimately, I only stayed there for about 6 months. So it was I felt a lot like a failure, but I think I've listened to so many podcasts being like, fail fast. Yeah. It's okay. Right. Like, move on. And so ultimately that was the right choice for me, because I was incredibly unhappy. I felt really unfulfilled, like no purpose. And I did end up going to Canada for 6 months, where I continued my rowing career, did some volunteer stuff, and started to kind of figure out what to do next.
Do you remember what helped you in that period of time to like keep pushing forward?
I mean, my parents were incredible. I think a lot of why I am where I am, I think, is because of my incredibly strong family structure. And like my mom in particular, she's certainly not one for quitting. She's like, you will keep going, like you signed up for this, like you have to see it through. But she saw how unhappy I was. And like when I just chatted with a financial advisor, trying to learn a lot more about the financial world for my own purposes. And there's a lot of talk when you're young, you should be riskier. Like your risk profile should be greater, because you have time to make it up if something bad happens. So as you grow older, you have to be slightly more conservative. And so it was kind of that, like, you know what? I'm 22 years old. It'll be okay. Yeah. I'll figure it out. Like, this is not so bad that like a 6-month blip on my resume will mean anything. Yeah. So I think like my parents ultimately were really supportive there, and they were like, let's just move on. Like, do something, like get yourself to a better place, and then you'll be able to think really clearly about what you want. Yeah.